What's your morning routine look like?
Well, this morning was different.
She talks about how she gets up every single morning at 6:30 and she does everything and she makes all the lunches and she does all this and she's always talking about drop off, drop off, drop off. To me, drop off is like it's just one of the things that a mom that's really doing things and in the thick of it is not going to brag about that they do. She's really big on the reminding everybody that she's doing drop off, doing drop off. And then there's actually even a part in here where she's like, well, on the mornings that she's really, really busy with business meetings, then the nanny can take them on those mornings. And the nanny's been with them for 5 years. And I'm thinking, wow, you actually admitted that you have help? That is shocking. I am shocked. I am shooketh.
And I was literally praying before this interview today, and this is what kept coming to me. And I think literally praying before this interview today. And this is what kept coming to me. And I think that
So now they're going to go and they're going to talk about self-esteem. They're going to segue into self-esteem. And Jamie's going to talk about how women don't feel like they're enough and they're not worthy. And it's a very special tie-in because that's the name of Jamie's book is Worthy. She wants women to feel worthy. And she says something about 80% of women polled don't believe that they're enough. And I'm thinking, what poll, who, where, what women are you talking to? Are you talking about are you talking to single women? Are you talking to widowed women, divorced women, married women? Who are the cross sections of the people? I don't believe any of this garbage. And then of course they have to go again where they're peddling this like victim thing and all this stuff. And then that is where Meghan talks about the prove it game. And that's another big, big clip from this interview, this infomercial that has been making the rounds. It's called the prove it game and why Meghan feels like she will never, ever again engage in the prove it game because she doesn't have to prove herself to anyone. So let's listen to that.
But this idea that we spend so much of our life trying to prove something, to prove that you're enough, you have to prove that you're pretty enough, you have to prove that you're smart enough, you prove that you're a good wife or a good friend. And I was like,
Just to be clear, no one's ever asked Meghan to prove herself ever, really. All we're asking her to do is drop the mask and tell us the truth.
I am just so done with the prove it game. When you
yes.
get to the place where you feel I have to prove it.
And it's always these pauses and the blinking, the rapid blinking. They say that rapid blinking is also a tell that people are lying. But so she's done with the prove it game. She's not going to try to convince us that she's a good person. She just knows she is. So neener on you and me.
Anything to you anymore. I don't have to prove that I'm a good person. I don't have to prove to you that I'm a good wife or mom or friend. I don't have to.
Well, first of all, we don't want you to prove anything. We just want you to tell us the truth and then go away and live your life. And not just because we're annoyed from you over you, but that's like a big part of it, but because what's good for you, it's what's going to be good for your heart and your soul. Maybe you can heal yourself if you just go away and stop participating in this. And she is actually all about the prove it game. I don't care what these narcissists try to tell you, they are into the prove it game. She's constantly trying to prove herself because if she wasn't, she wouldn't be throwing all this garbage out here, this spread, this Netflix show, these podcasts. She is constantly trying to prove herself worthy in our eyes. But again, when you're focused on the self, like all this new age hokey doke garbage that these type of people peddle, you're always going to buy into that and you're always going to want to prove yourself because you're all about yourself and you're all about elevating yourself and getting more money and more power and more status. You're going to have to try to prove yourself to more and more people so that they'll like you and give you money and all. Like it's like a sick, vicious circle.
Prove that I work hard. And it can be really freeing when you stop playing the prove it game. You're proving nothing.
It would be really freeing if she just stopped lying all the time, in my opinion, and stop peddling herself on everyone all the time, you know? And actually, wait, hold on.
To anyone other than to yourself.
Mm.
And that takes a lot of time and that takes a lot of pain. And
so basically, she's saying you don't have to prove yourself to anybody but yourself, which is a very evil anti-Christian worldview to take because, again, that is not taking into account that you do need to look outside yourself. First, God, then your neighbor, then yourself. And you have to have accountability for who you are, what you do, what you stand for, all of it. There's no personal accountability. It's kind of this sick, twisted thing. As a narcissist, when you have a hole inside you, you're constantly trying to prove your self-worth because you don't have any, but then you're so into yourself, always gazing at your own navel, trying to self-actualize. And it's the absence of God. We were made for him, to love him and to be loved by him and to love others. And these people are all about the self. And in all actuality, too, when you think about it, when she talks about how she's done with playing this prove it game, well, I tell you what, in the very, very beginning, when she was introduced in the British media, she was really liked right out of the gate. People were celebrating the union. They were happy for Harry. They were like, oh, look at this beautiful biracial American woman. She's an actress. She's a career woman. The accolades were just off the charts for her. And they were so happy and they were so excited. And she got a lot of goodwill and good faith from the public out of the gate for doing nothing, for just showing up. So if she finds it difficult and not fair to be just trapped by the prove it game, she has no one to blame but herself. She got here because of everything that she did, her actions. And without some type of moral compass and some type of guidance from the Lord, she's never going to realize that, ever. And that's what's really, really sad about this whole thing.
At least in my own experience. But to just really go, and not with an energy of like, I'm over it, I don't care. No, I care, but I don't have to prove it to you. And
You
if you
do,
can't see
actually.
it,
If people in mass, like the way that they do criticize her, it's like in my last video when I was talking about when people were getting mad at Father Brennan, that Irish Catholic priest, for talking about her show. And they were like, that's unchristian. You shouldn't talk and criticize. And he's just, well, just the fact that so many people are criticizing should give you cause for pause and figure out what's going on there. Have you done any type of investigating to find out exactly what people's grievances are against her? But again, she's above it. She's not going to address it. Just ignore it, smile, wave, and move on.
I don't need to prove to you why that's your loss. Like, because I know that I'm a great friend, and I know the kind of mom I am, and I know the kind of human being I am, and I know how I show up. And
you know what? I've said it before. I'll say it again. She is a worthy human being. She's worthy because she was breathed into existence by our Savior. And she's worthy because of that. She's not the one that believes it, though. That's why she engages in all this tomfoolery that she engages in.
And I love being able to be that person with the people that I love. So
I'm so fired up, you guys.
Worthiness, maybe part of worthiness comes when you stop having to feel like you're in the prove it game.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah.
Maybe worthiness will come from accepting your shortcomings and admitting all your wrongdoings and making atonement and asking for forgiveness and going to people that you've wronged and saying, I see what I've done to you, and this is what I've done, and I apologize. Maybe your worth and your esteem will go up, not only in their eyes, but your eyes as well. And it'll be healing for both of you. But again, if she doesn't have that moral compass, if she doesn't have that guidance and that worldview and have God in her life, she's never going to come to that conclusion. She's always going to be going and looking to people like Jamie with her Worthy book, or the gospel according to Oprah, and all this elitist celebrity garbage bullshit. And she's never going to be happy. The only thing that can cure narcissism, in my opinion, is God. God can break through and do anything he wants to do. And she needs a whole lot of saving. And don't get me wrong, we are all sinners and we all have our things. But you and I and most people haven't gone out and hurt people and left a trail of bodies in their wake the way that this woman has and act like it's nothing. And that's the problem. She's on a world stage behaving like this.
Yeah. I am getting emotional right now because
So
the
am
number
I.
of girls and women who are going to watch this, who are going to just take those words, that when you text that to me one day, we're talking about something and you wrote all that about not being in the prove it game anymore. And I'm just,
Yeah, I don't know. And Jamie babbled on a little bit here about like, oh, I went online in this forum and I saw all these girls and they were just so like, oh, taken aback by you and you're their role model. I don't think that. I don't see groups of girls out there that are young girls talking about how much they love her. What are they talking about? And for Meghan to say that she's not in the prove it game anymore, well, that's a really convenient way for her to frame the current predicament in which she finds herself, isn't it? Yeah, it
It's
is.
like, this is so profound, and it's so simple, but so profound and so true.
It's simple. Yeah. It ain't profound, and it's just garbage. It's just straight up garbage advice. So I don't know. I don't remember what I have at this part. Let's just listen to it and see what this is.
And I feel like when every one of us, like, actually just sees it from that perspective, like, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a great friend. I know, all the things.
And you
Like,
know you did your best.
I did my best.
Okay, so I guess here Jamie's trying to relate to Meghan's plight, but Jamie hasn't acted the way that Meghan has in the public domain. I hope somebody hasn't attacked Jamie here. Like I said, I don't know if she's really like this sugary sweet and seemingly out of it. I don't know who's attacking her personally in her personal life to make her feel like she's less than. That's kind of sad, but I haven't really seen anyone out in the media talking anything about Jamie. If anything, they're just probably saying, Jamie, why are you having this woman on your podcast? Why do you want your name associated and dragged through the mud with this woman's name? But whatever. And then I think coming up, there's another ad break. And it was like crazy annoying.
Probably texted that to you while I was typing to my kids.
Probably.
Tapping to my
Can
kid.
you please start an email account for me and
Sure.
daily, like, because you don't have enough going on
I will though.
with all of your
I
Really
will.
cute, clever names.
Oh my
all of your stuff. I
gosh.
love
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's the ad break. So then we got another ad break here. And I think it's
energy
like
is contagious. And
in my
so is
notes, I have it
self-belief.
for it's
And
a
I
little
love to hang
over
out with you
3
even
minutes.
more, especially.
I mean, really, 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 really. And I guess she wants her again, sign up for her newsletter, get her thing, you're worthy, da 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 da. And then this next one we're going to get into is remember from a month or so ago, the whole Gwyneth Paltrow saga that was going on. And Jamie asks Meghan about, okay, like, what was that all about? Was there like a real beef between you and Gwyneth, Mrs. Goop? So let's listen to this garbage nonsense. Everything, isn't that funny? Everything's garbage nonsense, but it is garbage nonsense.
Or
Yeah.
compete or this or that. And, we've all seen it. We've all had experience of like that in our own life. And I know that you don't really see almost any of the press, but this thing.
Again, she doesn't see any of the press. She doesn't see any of it. Oh my gosh. And this is where she asks her about the whole Gwen thing and like, why is it that the media always wants to pit women against each other? Never mind that like Gwen did enough to troll Meghan on her own to even start that shenanigans, but okay.
Thing had been going on.
Well, I
saying
did
like,
see it. She texted me.
oh, did
My
she?
gosh, she's like, yeah. She texted me and she said, "Oh my gosh, like I did this interview and I can't remember verbatim what she said, but she's like,
Okay, first of all, big fat fib. Of course, Meghan reads everything. We've already established that a bajillion years ago. But Gwen called her up and said, oh my gosh, like, I don't understand. I just did this article. Well, in the Vanity Fair article, Gwen is actually quoted and when she's talking about Meghan. And it actually sounded to me when I read it, it sounded very, very snarky. And I have it pulled up here. Let's see. So in the article, Gwenny says, I don't know Meghan and Harry. I'm surprised given how close they live. I mean, I've met Meghan, who seems really lovely, but I don't know her at all. She clarifies, maybe I'll try to get through their security detail and bring them a pie. That's like semi-trolling. Their security detail, right? Making it seem like who does Meghan think she is? And then they asked Gwyneth, I guess, at this point in the interview, how do you feel about Meghan launching her own lifestyle brand? And Gwen says, well, she's unthreatened, and I was raised to see women as friends, not foes, and I have an instinct to stand up for them. And there's always more than enough success, meaning to go around and all this kind of garbage. And that article was actually dated on March 18th, 2025. And then 3 or 4 days later, on March 22nd, Gwen posted that infamous post on her Instagram where people were like, she is trolling Meghan's Netflix show. Because that was during the time when Meghan was getting a lot of backlash for her show. And that's when Gwen posted that video about her making her breakfast in her kitchen. And that was the vibe that everybody got. So in that video, I was talking about how I think that Gwen probably felt a little bad, and that's why she wanted to make it seem like she wasn't trolling Meghan, because she doesn't want to seem like a mean girl. So I think that was the impetus to call Meghan over to her house and make it seem like they're besties eating pie. But the way Meghan's spinning it, oh my gosh, and I had no idea. I didn't hear anything about it until Gwen herself had to call me and tell me or text me or whatever it is.
I give up. I don't
Nonsense.
even know what to say anymore. And I said, well, I didn't hear about it, hadn't heard about it at all. And then because not because people are hiding things from me, but maybe because it's not something that anyone felt
People don't have to hide anything from you, Meghan, because you read everything.
needed to be on my radar.
Yeah.
And I just texted her back. I was like, I hear there's something about like pie.
See? So she did read it. So I texted her back and read that it had something to do with pie. That thing I just read you from that article, that's what she's referencing. So don't tell me she doesn't read stuff. Why does everything have to be a lie? This is why people pick apart this minutia, because we want to call these people out. This is lies. This is falsehood. This is fake persona. This is just her trying to fix her image so that we'll buy stuff from her. That's what this is. Yeah. Okay. So she's gonna call Gwenny and oh yeah.
And then we ended up, she was doing something on Instagram. So I ordered some pie on Instacart. We sat there and ate some pie and laughed and caught up a little bit. And then I came back home.
Okay. So in the last episode, didn't Jamie tell us that she just wants to go to Megan's house, chill out, have a glass of wine, and order DoorDash, but Megan's insisting don't order DoorDash. She's going to cook from scratch. So then, if that's true, why would Megan order a pie from Instacart and bring it to Gwen's house? Gwen isn't deserving of a home cooked meal, but Jamie is. I don't understand any of this, but you see how like all these little inconsistencies start building up to the point. Does anything that comes out of your mouth make sense? Is everything a fib or a half truth or a bold faced made up lie? In my opinion, but like, oh my gosh, what else do I have here? It's just, this is just so disturbing. So disturbing. And then let's see if we can get past some of this nonsense. Hold on. There is a part here where Jamie reads something that Harry said in the Netflix reality show that him and his lovely wife did, where they trashed their families for 6 hours straight. And see if I can find that
We could
part
just have
for
some
you.
fun with it.
I love that you did it.
Yeah.
This
Oh
is so
yeah.
fun because all the things people know about, we now get to like hear them in your words. So Harry said
Uh-huh.
publicly so much of what Meghan is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is that part I was telling you. So this is the part where she's reading verbatim what Harry said in the Netflix documentary that they made, where he talks about how she is so similar to his mother. So listen to this. We've all heard this before.
And how she is so similar to my mom. She has the same compassion,
Mm,
she has the same empathy, she has the same confidence, she has this warmth about her. How do you feel about
that's so
him sharing that?
it's beautiful.
Meghan is nothing like Diana. But listen to her response to that. She says, "Oh, that's beautiful." And then listen to all the things she said about Diana. Just listen.
Beautiful. I wish I could have met her.
I'm feeling viscerally so happy because I feel like
That's it. That's all she says. And then it seemed like there was like an edit, like a cut, and then they just move on to talking about the next thing. I wish I could have met her. Like, let's just watch that again really quick. All this stuff. He's comparing you to his long missed beloved mother. And this is what Meghan's response is.
all the things people know about, we now get to like hear them in your words. How do you feel about
That's so
him sharing that?
it's beautiful. I wish I could have met her.
I'm feeling viscerally
Yeah. No talk about Diana at all. Funny because she wanted to be Diana 2.0. And it's also fitting because that is really the only reason why Harry and Meghan are relevant, because of who his mother is and who his father is. Right. But wish I could have met her. I don't buy that for a second. She hates that people love, admire, and respect Diana even to this day. She is sorely missed, and she is a beloved figure that will go down in history. She wasn't a saint. She had her faults, but at her core, she did believe in charitable works and she did believe in supporting people. And she was a staunch monarchist. And I can tell you right now, the behavior of this woman's husband, the way that he is trying to undermine his brother William, who's going to be the future king, is really disturbing. And I think Diana would have been very upset to know that Harry has done everything he could to sabotage William, because she wanted them working together. She wanted them to take care of each other. So she's really upset that she never achieved Diana's status. And I don't think that she likes how everyone still speaks of and loves and respects Diana. And she has not even remotely come close to that level of admiration and respect. If anything, there is just a level of disdain for her that is just palpable, and she hates that. That's why she doesn't want to talk about Diana. That's why. And it's really sad.
So happy because I feel like people are I feel like they're really here with us in the rocking chair.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff about you I had no idea.
Here we go again with the freaking rocking chairs. And then they're going to go in and talk a little bit about how no makeup. No makeup. Okay, I'm going to make a video about that and debunk that whole garbage. And then here's more about how they're not wearing makeup and they're so authentic.
Oh my gosh, I don't even okay, so I have not like done a show with no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
Do you think I have? What are you talking about?
You look exactly the same
Oh
though.
God. Oh.
You look exactly the same. Uh
Keep an eye out for they're full of garbage saying that they're not wearing any makeup. And then now this is the point of the conversation where it's like a little bit of some rapid fire questions. And she asks Meghan, well, so do you watch anything on Netflix like The Crown or Bridgerton? What do you like to watch? And she specifically asked Meghan, do you watch The Crown or Bridgerton? And I'm like, really?
So, okay, these are some of the hot questions that everyone wants to know.
Oh, okay.
Do you watch the royal shows on TV, like The Crown or Bridgerton or any of them?
What do you think she's going to say? If you haven't seen this, what do you think she's going to say? I knew what she was going to say. Even though I know now what she's going to say, I knew what she was going to say. Just listen to this garbage.
I watched Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, absolutely no fleeting interest in The Crown, right? Who believes that? Harry even admitted on the Netflix documentary that he's watched The Crown before. That's such garbage, such absolute
It's a great
garbage.
show.
So
That's a period piece also. And I love Shonda Rhimes shows. So yes.
so much talk about your name. And for me, I'm like, gosh, a lot of families like when they have to pick up their kids from drop off.
Yeah, well, she's not using it properly, first of all. She can say she's Meghan Sussex all she wants, but she's not using it properly, and no one's ever gonna use that for her. She's Meghan Markle. She's Meghan Markle, okay? And she acts like she doesn't want to be Meghan Markle. And listen to what she says about the use of Markle if she's been using it. Just listen to this.
Or have medical records, or
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that don't even still have that name, but they've kept that name because it's important for all the other
The
reasons.
continuity.
Meghan Sussex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now I heard there are Sussex chickens and I
Mm.
Sussex chickens, you guys, in Archie's chicken.
need to get a couple of Sussex chickens to add to my flock. I'm so excited. Got my girls. Yeah.
And so do you use Markle anymore?
No, not since I got married.
Not since you got married.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Here's another example of complete and total lies, fabrications, and hypocrisy here. Don't you remember, Meghan, in the Oprah special, you said that you lost your voice and nearly ended up losing your name. But she just said that she hasn't used Markle since she got married. But one of the things that I guess made her want to unalive herself during her time in the oppressive monarchy was that she nearly lost her name. Well, you didn't lose Sussex being married into the royal family. So I guess the name she must be talking about is Markle. So which one is it? Did you almost lose your name, or did you stop using it when you got married? So do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm talking about? This is such nonsense garbage. Ugh, help me, Lord.
Good to know. This is what everyone wants to know.
Oh.
Not
Okay, what's
really.
your morning routine look like?
Well, this morning was different.
Oh, I don't even want to go into this too much, you guys. She talks about how she gets up every single morning at 6:30 and she does everything and she makes all the lunches and she does all this and she's always talking about drop off, drop off, drop off. To me, drop off is like it's just one of the things that a mom that's really doing things and in the thick of it is not going to brag about that they do. She's really big on the reminding everybody that she's doing drop off, doing drop off. And then there's actually even a part in here where she's like, well, on the mornings that she's really, really busy with business meetings, then the nanny can take them on those mornings. And the nanny's been with them for 5 years. And I'm thinking, wow, you actually admitted that you have help? That is shocking. I am shocked. I am shooketh. Oy, oy, oy. And then the next part, and almost done here, there's a part where Jamie is talking about, what a wonderful human being Meghan is again, and how she's such a hard worker and she's immune to criticism because she's just going out there doing the thing. And she is in the arena and she is working hard and she is just, she's all about it. And she brings up a poem that apparently is by Theodore Roosevelt called The Arena. Let me see if I can find that part.
I'm getting emotional. I hope every girl and woman who's going to listen to this and watch this.
Oh, Lord. Help me. Jeez.
First time I knew the answer and I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, my gosh. And I had notes where I was writing down, go to this part, go to this part. But when I first started this, I had to watch this thing in its entirety. And even then, I was listening at 1.25, 1.5 speed, and I was wanting to
And who
stab
at
my
the
eyeballs.
worst, if she fails,
Okay, so this is it. This is the part where she's reading that poem called Arena. Here it goes. But the thing that I want you to really pay attention to when Jamie's reading that poem is Meghan's face, because you can see by Meghan's face that she really, really does believe that poem's about her. So here's the actual poem. And Jamie says that I think whenever the word man is in the poem, Jamie inserts woman in there. So just listen to this.
So I want to close on this because I just know there's somebody listening to you and me right now, watching us right now, who needs this in their life.
And we've never talked about this quote. I love this quote. When you said, I was like,
about it.
the arena.
We never talked about it. And when I was literally praying before this interview today, and this is what kept coming to me. And
I'm going to show you guys something there, but did you guys see Meghan's face when she said, I was praying today? Look at that face. It's like her countenance fell immediately when Jamie said, I've been praying before this show. There's something creepy going on there. Meghan doesn't like the word pray. And I'm going to show you that footage slow down, and it's going to give you nightmares. I apologize.
And I was literally praying before this interview today, and this is what kept coming to me. And I think literally praying before this interview today, and this is what kept coming to me. And I think that all of us together collectively
Oh my gosh, just
in our
get
own
to the
lives can
poem
almost
already.
like
Help us.
the credit belongs to the woman who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly.
Megan's face has never been marred by dust and sweat or blood. Maybe the bodies that she's left in her wake have. Maybe the people that have worked for her have been in the arena, but she hasn't.
Who comes up short again and again because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms.
We're almost done, guys. Again, I'm sorry for keeping you from your life, but I think that this has been a really good exercise. This has been time well spent because we're getting better and better at identifying this type of deviant false narcissistic behavior that's just so disgusting. And it's so vacuous and shallow and devoid of anything real and true and good. But it's dressed up to look like something good, but it's not. And that's why we all feel awful watching this type of stuff and being force-fed this type of stuff. It's because she looks good, but what she gives is just, she's just like the Tasmanian devil everywhere she goes. And she's left so much hurt and heartache in her wake, among her family, his family, all of it. But someone's going to read her a poem like this, and she's really thinking that she's that person in the arena. Go read the Bible, Meghan. Forget these poems. Go read the
The great
Bible.
devotions, who spends herself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly.
Oh boy. You want to read something beautiful, Jamie? Read the Psalms. Read the Psalms to Meghan. Read the writings of St. Augustine, where he says that my soul is restless, Lord, until it rests in you. That's the only way that people like this, especially the Meghans of the world that are so self-serving, are going to get any type of peace. It's just, and then after this, you guys, it goes into, I kid you not, 7 more minutes of ads. I am not even joking.
You are loved. You are loved. I love you. And I cannot wait to join you on the next episode of the Jamie Kern Lima Show. Oh my gosh, you know that journey to believe?
So after this poem, they're going to say their goodbyes. So watch, because Megan's fake crying again.
That is you, my friend. I love you. Thank you for trusting me with your first ever podcast and with your friendship.
Yeah.
And with, yeah.
Means a lot, Jamie. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you.
It means a lot. What, Meghan? She's so overcome with emotion that she's whispering and her voice is wavering. This is such nonsense, you guys. And then after this, it's 7 minutes. 7 minutes of Jamie plugging the show that we're watching. Make that make sense. Have you ever watched a show that shows you a commercial for the show you're watching? That's all she's done.
you so much for joining me today. And before you
And then
go,
she
I want
thanks
to share
us for
some words with you
joining,
that
and then
couldn't
you
be
want to,
more
like, she's going to share words of encouragement, and you sign up for her newsletter, and then she's going to show you that she was
unstoppable.
on stage and giving people high fives on a book tour. And these
We'll
are
make
rich,
you
cool
laugh.
people that she
We'll make you
knows.
think.
This lady from Good Morning America, Mel
I
Robbins,
have never talked about this before, but
Oprah,
I'm going to talk about it with you.
all these people. It's like,
Your brain and your spirit and your heart is like, wow.
seriously, you guys, 7 minutes. 7 minutes of this. So this is the end, you guys. This is the end of this. You made it. I made it. I want you guys to tell me what you think. We've gone on for a really long time. But again, I think it's important, because we have to call this out. The lies and the deceptions and the falsehoods and all this, and that this type of stuff, this new age woo-woo-y, I don't have to account for anything, I'm perfect the way I am, blah, 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 is nonsense. You have to atone. You have to ask for forgiveness when you do wrong things. You have to look outside of yourself. There's so many things wrong with these philosophies that these women are peddling. And there's no even real good business advice. I mean, at the very least, if you were trying to tune in to Jamie's podcast to try to figure out how she built a cosmetics empire, she ain't going to tell you. She did have a husband who I think worked in finance, and she started as a news anchor. So there's 2 things right there that were huge assets to helping her start her own business. So again, just a bunch of out of touch elites that don't really have any life, spiritual, or business advice for you. But I do hope that you tuning in to me, listening to me babble, maybe you have a better understanding about how these people weave their yarns and try to just basically pull the wool over our eyes. We are smart. We are savvy. We are good people. We can see right through this. And I know you can. So I want to thank you guys for spending this time with me. Keep a watch out for my next video coming up. I've got Joan Crawford chapter 6 coming up. Thank you guys so much who have been tuning in more and more to watch my Joan Crawford videos. I have a playlist of Joan's book, My Way of Life. Joan was the queen of Hollywood. That is a woman that should have had her own Netflix show. She was a trailblazer and she literally worked up from nothing. She didn't have a daddy that was a lighting director on a popular show who won an Emmy, who had money to funnel into his daughter's dreams. Joan was beaten. She was abused. She was working in a boarding school, scrubbing floors and serving kids to pay for her room and board in that school. And she never got an education past the 6th grade. So I could go on about Joan, but so check out that playlist. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.